What's up, everyone? This is Elliott Connie, and for over 15 years, I've helped thousands of counselors support their clients in finding solutions for their everyday lives and worked with tens of thousands of clients on my own. And today I want to welcome you back to the aha moments where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. And today I want to talk to you about purpose. And welcome to 2022, right? It's the first kind of Monday, first work day, first day of the first week of the new year 2022. And I hope all of us can have the greatest year of our lives. So I want to start off this year by talking to you guys about purpose and how important it is to have a purpose in your life and the way that you live. And I'm actually going to tell you where I first got lessons about how important it is to have a purpose and meaning in your life and understanding your meaning. When I was a kid, there was a high school janitor at my school. And this janitor was really, really popular amongst the kids. His name was Jeremiah. We called him Maya. And he was just like a really, really nice guy. And his job as a custodian was to clean the school and take care of the school and take care of the things. And I never, ever, ever, in 4 years of attending school, watching Jeremiah every single day do his job, I never saw Jeremiah unhappy. He was always smiling and whistling and talking positively to us kids and us students at the school. We would go to Jeremiah for life advice. And Jeremiah would talk to us. He would talk to us about what it's like to be an adult and the importance of school and the importance of learning. He would talk to us about what it meant to be a stand-up person. He was an inspirational guy, and it was noteworthy that you just never saw him not smiling, whistling, walking down the hallways of that school with, that big wide broom that the custodian has, it's wide enough to sweep the hallway in one go. And during my senior year, just before graduation, I was talking to Jeremiah, and I asked him, now, this was at a really unhappy time in my life. This was at a time in my life when I was really stressed out and I was under a lot of pressure. I hadn't seen a lot of people in my home that were extraordinarily happy. And I worked up the nerve to ask Jeremiah, how come he's able to smile every single day? Why are you able to walk around with such a positive attitude, such a positive look on your face, and be such an uplifting person? And Jeremiah said that he has a granddaughter, and he was close to his granddaughter, and he was close to his children, and he said he wanted to help his granddaughter with school, and he wanted to be around his granddaughter more. So he applied for a job at the local school to be a custodian, and he got the job, and he realized it wasn't in the cards for him to be a teacher or anything else, but he thought it's really important that kids come to school in a safe and clean environment. And he was so proud of himself and so happy about himself for being able to help his granddaughter go to school in a safe and clean environment. And then after his granddaughter graduated from high school, he realized that this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to contribute in a different way to kids getting educations. And he took pride in making sure that the kids came to school in a clean and safe environment. And I remember looking at him, and he didn't know it. But in that moment, I made the decision. I'm not going to try to build my career based upon money or status. I want to do something that gives me fulfillment, the type of fulfillment that allows me to come to work every day smiling and knowing that I was fulfilling a purpose that was meaningful to me in my life. So when I went to college the next year, I wasn't thinking about, I got to pick a career where I'm going to make $1 billion and get rich and famous, get all those things. I wanted to pick a career where I could make a difference and I could be proud of the person I was and I could walk around smiling every single day. And that led to me becoming a psychotherapist. And I do have this really deep feeling of satisfaction knowing that I'm contributing to the world in a positive way and hoping to make a difference to the people who hear my messages and come to my office to get therapy. But that's how important having a purpose is, because it allows you to live your life with a level of meaningfulness that really, really matters. So I want you to think about your life. And have you discovered your purpose? Have you discovered what gives your life meaning? Are you engaged in the things that make your life feel fulfilled and valued? If not, I want you to look around your life and look for those people who you do feel like have a purpose and allow them to inspire you to find yours, because nothing you'll ever do will be more important than this. Hey, thanks for being here today. Please, if you wouldn't mind, do me a huge favor and share this podcast with at least one person that you think could benefit from this message. And don't forget to head on over to Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe to this podcast, you can rate this podcast, you can leave feedback for this podcast. In fact, do that wherever you listen to your podcast, and I will see you tomorrow. What's up, everyone? This is Elliott Connie, and for over 15 years, I've helped thousands of counselors support their clients in finding solutions in their everyday lives and worked with tens of thousands of clients on my own. And today I want to welcome you back to the aha moments where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. And today I want to talk to you about purpose and how you can use your purpose to strengthen your goals or to strengthen yourself as you're in pursuit of one of your goals. And I'm going to tell you a story about something that's been happening daily in my life for the past couple of days, because knowing why you're doing something or knowing the purpose for a task can literally make you stronger in pursuit of that task. In the past couple of weeks, I've decided to take my own personal health and my fitness journey more seriously and have hired a trainer to do the things to get myself back into shape. Really, throughout this journey, this trainer asks me to do things that not only do I not want to do, but at the time in which she asks me to do it, I genuinely don't think that I can do it. Like this morning, she showed me this thing that she wanted me to do. Like, you stand on this band and you do your arms in a certain way and you lift the band and it's really tense and hold that position for a minute. And a minute might not seem like a long time, but put one of your muscles in strain, put one of your muscles in pain, and all of a sudden a minute seems like a month. Like, it seems like it's forever. And during the time that I'm doing the exercise and I'm doing the task, that my trainer, her name is Tiara, by the way, that my trainer asks me to do something, it's thinking about the ultimate why that gives me the strength and gives me the power and gives me the ability to perform the task. I think sometimes we underestimate ourselves when we're in pursuit of a goal. Like, we think about a goal we want to accomplish, and we underestimate our own greatness. And one of the reasons we underestimate our own greatness is we don't spend enough time thinking about how do you unlock your power to achieve something. And one of the ways you unlock your power is to connect it to your purpose, is to connect it to something meaningful in your life. You know, probably the most famous example of this is that woman in Australia. She was driving down the street and the sun was beaming in her eyes so badly that she veered into oncoming traffic and got into a real bad car accident. The car accident threw her from the car and knocked her unconscious. And when she came to, she was on this desolate road by herself. She couldn't find her 3-year-old son, who at the time of the accident was in the back seat of her car in a car seat. And she looks around. There's nobody on the road. There's nobody coming. It's just her on this isolated road, having been in this accident, and she realizes her 3-year-old son is underneath the car. And with no other options, nobody is coming to rescue. This is before cell phones were invented, so she couldn't dial for the emergency ambulance to come get her. She lifts the car off of her 3-year-old son to save her life. How did she do that? How did a woman who would have said, I don't have the power or strength to lift a car, how did she successfully lift the car to save her son's life? Because the task of lifting the car was connected to something meaningful. In fact, incredibly meaningful in her life. So then she could do it. You know, all of you have untapped power and untapped potential in your life. We just don't have a habit of unlocking it. We don't have a habit of turning it on to accomplish a certain thing. And in order to do that, you have to become better. You have to become more successful. You have to become more capable of connecting your tasks to meaningfulness and connecting your tasks to purposeful things in your life. Because once you're doing something purposefully, once you're doing something meaningfully, then you have the capacity to do it powerfully. So I want to encourage you guys to think about the meaningful things in your life and how you can use those meaningful things to untap and unlock your true power and potential as you look to accomplish wonderful things in this new year. Thanks so much for being here today. If you wouldn't mind, please do me a huge favor and share this podcast with at least one person you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And don't forget to head on over to Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe to this podcast, you can rate this podcast, you can leave feedback for this podcast. I'd love to hear what you guys think. In fact, do that wherever you listen to your podcast, and I will see you tomorrow. What's up, everyone? This is Elliott Connie, and for over 15 years, I've helped thousands of counselors support their clients in finding solutions for their everyday lives and worked with tens of thousands of clients on my own. And today I want to welcome you back to the aha moments where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. And today I want to continue talking to you about purpose. The idea of having a purpose in your life is so significant and such a huge part of my life that me and my colleagues and my team, we host an event every year that is actually called Purpose, that is dedicated to helping professionals find their purpose in their life, not just in their profession, like walk in their purpose. It's something I think is so critical and so crucial, and maybe the best example of how powerful and impactful a purpose can be in your life comes from a guy named Joe Moglia. Joe Moglia, those of you who don't know that name, he was the CEO of TD Ameritrade for several years, and he had spent his entire life dedicated to business. He had spent his entire life focused on growing his business, but he had this love of teaching. He had this love of football, actually. He had this love of being around football and teaching football and being around athletes. So even though he was working at TD Ameritrade, he was a CEO overseeing the company as it grew to over $300 billion. It was really, really important to him to get back to his roots. So I believe his salary was $17 million a year. He retired from being the CEO of Ameritrade. Everybody in his life thought he was crazy. His wife thought he was crazy. Everybody thought he was crazy because he just walked away from this life as a CEO. Most people build up to that just to be in that position because he wanted to get back into football. So the first thing he did after being the CEO of a company that was worth $300 billion, he becomes the student intern at Fordham University just to get back into coaching, right? Just to get back around football, just to get back around the thing that he enjoyed, just to get back in his purpose, and just to get back to doing the thing that filled his life with satisfaction. His wife described him as never being as happy as he'd been in that time. He hopped around a little bit and he went into coaching at Nebraska. I actually think Nebraska is where he got into coaching when he immediately left being the CEO. There was something about football, athletics, students, student athletes, the sport world that really invigorated him. And he spent the next 10 years coaching at various colleges and climbing the ranks of coaching until he retired from coaching in 2018. I tell people all the time, we make decisions for the wrong reasons. We make decisions based upon status, privilege, finance, power. But if you truly want to live a happy and inspired life, a life filled with joy and satisfaction, you have to just decide, what are the things that light me up? What are the things that light my soul on fire? What are the things that inspire me? What are the things that inspire me and cause me to inspire others? Because those are the things that should guide you to do the things that you want to do in your life. Now, for some people, that might be running a company, and for other people, it might be coaching football, and for other people, it might be having a family, and for other people, it might be working on cars, and for other people, it might be becoming a captain of a ship, and for other people, it might be in the military. No matter what it is, you have to spend some time figuring out, what is the thing I want to be doing with my time on this earth? What are the things I want to be doing that really give me satisfaction? And then develop the courage and the strength to do them, no matter what the world thinks of them. The funny thing is too, is most of the people I know that are wildly financially successful, most of the people I know that are just overwhelmed and overcome with financial success and the global materialistic success that we all think about, they're the ones who actually didn't pursue it. They got that success because they followed their path of purpose. They followed their path of meaningfulness, and somehow things just worked out in their favor. And I think that that's what we all need to learn. And when I think about Joe Moglia, that's what I think. As a young person, he went into coaching as he was in college. Then he left coaching to become a multi-millionaire running a multi-billion-dollar company. But in the back of his mind, he always wanted to return to coaching because that's where his purpose was. And he spent the rest of his working life doing the thing that was more associated with the purpose than what was financially good for him. And that's the lesson I think we all need to learn. So I want you guys to think about, like, what's that thing in your life that would give you purpose and give you value and give you meaning? Because I promise you, that's the thing you should be doing with your time. So thanks for being here today. And if you wouldn't mind, do me a super huge favor and share this podcast with at least one person that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And don't forget to head on over to Apple Podcasts where you can subscribe, leave feedback, and rate this podcast. In fact, do that anywhere you listen to podcasts, and I will see you tomorrow. What's up, everyone? This is Elliott Connie, and for over 15 years, I've helped thousands of counselors support their clients in finding solutions for their everyday lives and worked with tens of thousands of clients on my own. And today I want to welcome you back to the aha moments where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. And today I have something really important I want to share with you. You know, as I've been talking to you guys about purpose, and as I've been sharing this message about having a purpose, and as I've been sharing about how important it is to be on a purpose and to be making sure you're living your life in a meaningful and a substantial way, I think sometimes we misinterpret that as like we have to do these big grand things in our lives. Like I have to find a way to smash atoms or do heart surgery or invent something or become a bazillionaire. But that's not true. That's not what I'm saying. I think the big lesson I want to convey is you just have to find what's a meaningful thing for you to be doing. What's the most meaningful way that you can spend your time on earth? And how do you make a life where you're doing the things that are connected with meaningfulness in your life? So often we make decisions without even thinking about them. I can remember being in college and a lot of my friends were majoring in things because their parents told them that's the major that would lead to a job. Or in some cases, the parent told them, I want you to major in accounting so that you can work at the family accounting office. Without giving any thought or without giving any attention to, but what makes me happy? What fills my heart with joy? What fills my time with excitement? What makes me ready to be the type of person that I want to be and live the life that I want to live? Now, that could be just as massive as my favorite human being that has ever lived on the planet, Nelson Mandela, who lived a life that he dedicated to freeing his people. And that life came with a consequence. Nelson Mandela wrote about a time where he came out of prison. This was before he went to prison for like the long, long time. He did a short stint in prison and he came home to his son. And his son said to him, how come you're gone for such long periods of time? I need my father. And Nelson Mandela said, because I have to be the father to a whole nation. That was him deciding, like, this is the purpose for my life. And it was hard and it was massive and it came at great consequence. He missed time around his loved ones. He missed time around his children. He missed time around his wife. He missed time around his family. But that was the purpose he had for his life. And your purpose could be just as massive. Somebody listening to this audio could be the very next Nelson Mandela for their people, for their country, for their tribe, for their whomever. But it can be just as small. I hate to use the word small, but it can be just as individualized as anything else. Like one of the closest people to me is a guy named Adam. You guys have probably heard me talk about Adam before. And Adam's wife, I would absolutely consider to be someone who is living in her purpose. She's living the life that she wants to be, and she spends a lot of her time dedicated to her children and being focused on her role as mother. That is something that she has identified as her purpose. It's something she takes very seriously, something she takes great pride in. It's something that she gets a massive amount of satisfaction in, and that's how she lives her life. And I think both Mandela and Adam's wife, Becca, are both fulfilling this idea of having a purpose in your life and living the way you want to live. Never live your life by anybody else's rules. Never allow someone else to set expectations in your life. Never make decisions in your life over superficial things like jobs or money. Like, if you think about it, we're only here for a short period of time. While you're here, do things that give you joy. While you're here, do things that
fill your soul. While you're here, do things that light your soul on fire. While you're here, do the things that make you smile. That's what this is all about. And that's what I want to encourage all of you to do. So no matter what your biggest aspirations are, no matter what it is you want to do, I just want you guys to think about living life on your terms. I want you guys to think about accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. I want you guys to think about making decisions in your life that are truly good for your soul and for your spirit. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It really would mean a huge amount to me if you would share this podcast with at least one person that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And don't forget to head on over to Apple Podcasts where you can subscribe, leave feedback, rate this podcast. In fact, do that wherever you listen to your podcast, and I will see you tomorrow.
What's up, everyone? This is Elliott Connie, and for over 15 years, I've helped thousands of counselors support their clients in finding solutions for their everyday lives and worked with tens of thousands of clients on my own. And today I want to welcome you back to the aha moments where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. And today I want to talk about purpose. And today I want to talk to you about excitement. Today I want to talk about what it's like to live a life with intention and with action and with purpose. But first, we're going to celebrate a little bit. We're going to celebrate because this is the 50th episode of my daily podcast. You know, one of my purposes is I have always wanted to make a difference positively in people's lives. And I want to inspire people. I want to invigorate people. And I want to uplift people. And I want to be a positive force in this world. I want to be a positive force in your lives. And my team and I have been making content for several years, posting on social media and posting on YouTube. And I've been working privately with clients, and I've been traveling around the world talking to different audiences to teach them the power of language and using something called solution-focused brief therapy in their work and in their lives. And eventually we decided to do a daily podcast. I'm super excited to be doing this. I've really enjoyed this process. And here we are, episode number 50. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that we've gotten to our 50th episode, to thank my team, Helen and Taylor, who have worked really hard behind the scenes, Grace, who's worked really hard behind the scenes to make this podcast everything it has been. And I want to take a minute to thank you guys for supporting the early stages of this podcast, for listening to my daily podcast and giving me such wonderful feedback and checking in with me and saying all the wonderful things you guys have said. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's talk about purpose for a minute. Now, those of you who know me know that I am close to a man named Adam. He's my best friend, happens to be one of the best researchers in the field of psychotherapy. But he's also someone I admire quite a bit because he lives his life with a tremendous amount of purpose. Like every single day, every single thing he does, it's based on a purposeful action. I'll tell you a funny story about Adam. Adam is someone, I'll say it this way, he has a tremendous sweet tooth. And I don't think he's ever met a sugar dish that he didn't love and want to devour. And the other day, we went to a place in Dallas called Deep Ellum. And in Deep Ellum, there happened to be not just like places, but like gourmet ice cream places and specialty cookie shops and specialty popsicle shops. There's a candy store that I swear to you has every piece of candy you could ever have. And I took Adam to that candy store because Adam loves all things sweet. Adam loves all things candy. Adam loves all things sugar. And I said, Adam, you gotta see this store. Like they have everything candy, and they have the candies that we used to eat when we were kids, and they had like retro candy, and they had all kinds of things in this store. You've got to check this out. And Adam comes into the store with me and he walks around and I'm like, Adam, do you want to buy any of this stuff? I'm happy to take you in there and we can, make a purchase here or there or whatever. And Adam says, no, today's a no sugar day. And he didn't eat a single piece of candy, a single cookie, drink a single soda, nothing. Because to Adam, today is a no sugar day. And I watch him go through situations like that. And it just amazes me how much like purpose and intention this man puts in like every step of the way.
It's in the way he fathers his children. It's in the way he behaves as a partner to his wife. It's in the way he leads his household. It's in the way that he allows his wife to lead the household and he falls into a follower role. It's in the way he conducts research. It's in everything he does. I want to inspire you guys to like learn the lesson that you should live life on purpose. You should live life with intention. You should live life with an action and an expectation that things are going to go your way. You should live life doing an action, anticipating a desirable consequence. I think that's the secret. If you know Adam, he's a very happy guy. He's a very, very satisfied guy. And I think the root of his satisfaction, I think what leads to him feeling so happy and so satisfied is he's always doing intentional actions, bringing about desirable consequences. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to think really hard about the things you do and the expectations you have from the things you do. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. Please do me a huge favor and share this podcast with at least one person that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And don't forget to head on over to Apple Podcasts, where you can subscribe to this podcast, rate this podcast, leave feedback for this podcast, and I will see you on Monday.